Hi, Piano Annie here, and today we're going to learn about the C7 chord, the F7 chord, and the G7 chord. All right, this is going to require a little work on your part if you are not familiar with these already. And if you are familiar with these chords and all of their inversions, then you can probably skip this video. All right, so what is a C7 chord? It is, if you take the C major scale, and you take the seventh note and you flat it, which is what we do in the blues, that is your flat 7. And you find the C major chord, which is always the 1, the 3, and the 5 of whichever key you're in, and we're in the key of C here. So the 1, the 3, and the 5, and then you take the flat 7, which in this case is a B flat, and that's your C7 chord. Okay? They have different versions if you switch the order of the keys around. So you'll always use the same keys, but you might drop the C and put it on the top. And then that is a C7. That is the first inversion. If you drop the E and put it up here, you get a C7 that way. Okay? So here's your C, your E, your G. So that's your 1, your 3, and your 5, and then there is your flat 7. Okay? And if you drop the G and put it on top, that's another version of the C7. If you drop the B flat down here and you put it on top, you're back to the original chord, which is the 1, the 3, the 5, and the flat 7. So you've got the root position, C7, first inversion, second inversion. I hope you can see that. It's a B flat, C, E, G. And the third inversion, and then you're back. And you would also, if you dropped a couple of the notes out altogether, if you just did this, with one hand, I'm just doing that to show you. If you do that, that's still a C7. You're just leaving the G out because maybe the G is being covered by your left hand, okay? You'd be voicing the G down there in your left hand perhaps, or you just want to leave it out because it's too busy. Okay, so there's really not much I can tell you except that you should try to learn all these versions. And ways you could do that would be just playing it up and down, maybe adding the other C on top, just becoming familiar with the notes. Maybe you could even go and do that for 2 octaves and then come down. And then you could challenge yourself, find it quickly all over the piano. And then you could say, all right, now I'm going to find the first inversion all over, okay? So if you remember, that was, you drop the C and the C is on top now. So it's like that. And you probably finger it this way. So you could pop around the piano and find that chord, okay? And maybe then find it leaving a note out and knowing that that's a C7. So then do the same thing with each inversion. All right. So then with the F major scale is F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, but we like to flat that 7th note. So the scale that we use will be F, G, A, B flat, then C, D, E flat, F. So let's find the first note, the 3rd note, the 5th note. Well, that's the F major chord. Okay? Looks a lot like the C major chord. There it is, F major, and then we add that flat 7th on top. So what's nice about that is you got the 3 white notes and then the black flat 7th, which looks a lot like the C7. So let's find the inversions. Drop the F, add the F on top. That is, and you might finger it this way, that is the first inversion of the F7. Drop the A, put it on top, and you would probably finger it like that. And then if you drop the C and put it on top, and you might sometimes finger it like that, but usually it would be like that. You kind of have to tuck your hand in, get your thumb on the flat, and then find your way into our barn. And you could use a pinky up there if you wanted. So there it is, okay? The third inversion. 4 notes, so 4 total versions, okay? And then when you drop the E flat and you put it on top, you're back to the original one that we did down here. So really it just takes time and practice. You might struggle sometimes and figure out what are you going to cue in on. I tend to cue in on the black note. So when I'm quickly trying to find a C7, I'll zero in on a B flat and know that I have to build the chord around that B flat. And then same thing with the F7, I sort of build it around the black key. Okay? You might find your own trick to do it. And maybe you could have someone yell out to you, and they could yell out F7 second inversion, and then you run and find that and try to find it 3 times, and then they yell out another one. All right, so let's move on to the G. The G, you might think it's a little easier because the G major scale has this F sharp in it, and then we're back to G. So it's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. But we flat this guy, so he becomes a white key. So the G scale that we use in the blues has all white keys. All right, this is its flat 7. So here's our G, here's the flat 7. All right, I mean there's a flat 7 down here too, but for our purposes we're using this one. So let's find the 1, the 3, and the 5, and then the flat 7 to find our G7. And look at that, isn't that cute and easy? All right, and then there's kind of a fun thing about this chord, which is that when you do its inversion on the G, you end up with these 2 notes right next to each other, like little rabbit buck teeth is how I think of it. Okay, and that's sort of what I cue in on when I'm finding a G7 quickly. Let's now drop the B and put it on top. That's what that looks like. That's still a G7. Isn't it cute? All right, and then I'm going to move down here. There, G7. And then when we put the D on top, you have that G7. So there's your G, your 1, your B, which is your 3, your D, which is your 5, and then your flat 7 is on the bottom. And you'll see that some people hit this just using their thumb, and that's fine. It gives you more fingers to do things with, okay? So there will be times where maybe you want both of those and you just use your thumb. Okay, so after that version, if you drop the flat 7 from the bottom and you put it on the top, well, there you are. You're back to the original form, the root form of the chord. Okay? All right, so those are the C7, F7, and G7 chords. And I would just love for you to learn those. It might take a while. It actually took me a while, believe it or not, because I played classical piano for so long. I never taught myself a lot of this theory, and it took me a while to change my mindset and just look directly at the piano and learn to just find these chords without reading music, having it all written out for me. And I actually think that this way, just finding it yourself and knowing why you're finding it is a lot more fun. Also, it would be nice if you could learn the chords with your left hand, all right? I would say put the priority on the right hand, but it certainly helps because you will be hitting those chords in the left hand too. Sometimes you might just want to strike that. Oopsie. Okay, I hit a G6 there by mistake. But anyway, sometimes you can just strike a chord in the left and hold it and play a little bit of blues or boogie-woogie with your right hand. Okay? So that's a reason to learn it. Also with your left hand, it's the same notes, but obviously different fingering, so a whole different feel. Anyway, that's it. Good luck with that, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.